Living is the art of learning, searching and comprehending that life goes beyond what we might have right here. Knowing is the key of power of what we may be. Loving is transcending a world of illusions far away from here. Come, let the sun shine inside of you. Love will triumph. Be pure, feeling reliable to live in the halo of the unfathomable reason of life. Living is the art of learning, searching and comprehending that life goes beyond what we might have right here. Knowing is the key of power of what we may be. Loving is transcending a world of illusions far away from here. Come, let the sun shine inside of you. Love will triumph. Be pure, feeling reliable to live in the halo of the unfathomable reason of life. Welcome to the 5th class of our upskill course on Spiritist education, from Mummy's belly to adulthood. The constrictions of life, which are manifested in various ways, lead the evolutionary aspirant to the correct path where, following it, the access to the objectives for which he is destined becomes easier. In this desideratum, education plays a leading role because it provides the means for a better identification of values and selection of them, polishing the rough edges of the self, developing aptitudes in germ and guiding with security. through the processes of fixation and learning, which from the character finally inculcating in individuality and externalizing themselves as relevant actions. The belief that the act of educating is bringing people together in a classroom and transmitting ready-made content to them is still very much alive in our courses for adults. Most of the time, we as educators tend to prepare expository classes when we should remember that adults also need to feel welcome, to feel joy, and feel motivated. Their attendance, their participation, their interest, and their learning in the groups of study rely on how motivated they are. And it's up to us, educators, facilitators, to stimulate their motivation. The role of educators and facilitators is, first of all, to understand the students' daily reality. Adults have worked all day long. They have their minds laid on their responsibilities at work, at home, with bills, and seniors have lots of issues to be observed. They need to have someone to talk to. They need company. Their goals go much further than just learning about Spiritism. We must also have the understanding that learning never stops, which means that adults are still developing and learning. We have to believe in the possibilities of human beings, seeking their growth and evolution, helping them become good people, people capable of love, each day more than the day before. Just like babies, children, and young people, each grown-up person has their own way of learning, which depends on the type of intelligence that each one has, among so many other characteristics. Multiple intelligences, emotional intelligence, non-violent communication, the learning pyramid on how we learn, theories of development. All that we have studied in our previous classes perfectly apply here as well. Until the day we die, everything is directly linked to the functioning of our brain. And there are many ways to stimulate our brain. The way the adult brain learns says a lot about the stimuli it received throughout its development. Since we are very young, we learn how to deal with new skills and to use our competences, and to efficiently stimulate the brain's development and learning. It is important to understand how it functions. Our brain is made up of two halves, called hemispheres, and each hemisphere controls a number of functions. The right hemisphere, for example, gives us the ability to recognize faces and objects, whereas the left side controls our ability to read and to write, as well as allowing us to identify grammatical rules. The brain controls all our activities and feelings, such as body movements, memory, and our emotions. If we are able to walk, talk, look, think, express ourselves in so many ways, reflect, and so much more, this is due to the joint action of different regions of the brain. In our Spiritism study groups, we, as educators, facilitators, must understand how grown-ups learn so we can offer effective classes. Classes where people leave excited, happy to have learned something new, and to have interacted with others in such a wonderful environment. All people are capable of learning. Cognition is nothing more than learning, or the process of acquiring knowledge. It is the ability we have to receive and process information, and then respond to stimuli, which involves different factors such as thought, language, perception, memory, reasoning, all part of the intellectual development. Stimuli are extremely necessary for our brain to develop. In addition to genetic and environmental factors, brain maturity also influences how it learns. Educating grown-ups is understanding social promotion, construction of knowledge, creativity, freedom of thought, development of competences and judgment, evolution of attitudes. It is giving due importance to experience, emphasis on reflection and problem solving. Educating must be a pleasurable process of active, proactive, contextualized, and creative investigation, which values autonomy, leading students to be actively there, to actively participate in the process. Educators need to keep in mind that adults are experienced learners. This is not their first time in a study group. Andragogy helps us understand how the learning in adults occurs and how we can make it possible for them to be motivated to learn. The term andragogy has its origins in the Greek language and it means educating adults. It is an educational path that seeks to understand the adult. In andragogy, learning focuses on the student, in the independence and self-management of learning for practical application in daily life. The teacher is a facilitator of the teaching-learning process, transforming knowledge into an action of exchanging lived experiences, being a two-way learning. Relations, partnerships between facilitator and apprentices are horizontal. They are collaborators of a joint initiative. In this process, grown-up students learn by sharing concepts and not just receiving information about them. Adult educational activity is centered on learning and not on teaching, and the adult learners are the agents of their own knowledge and are able to decide what and how to learn. Learning comes more from participation in tasks, group studies, and experience sharing. The role of the educator is to facilitate learning, emphasizing in the procedure on the baggage of information brought by the students. Classes, study groups should not only be a place where students go to listen and absorb topics. They should be where students look forward to being after a long day, where they get together in a warm sense of friendship and welcoming, to talk, to discuss, to debate, to share ideas, questions, thoughts, and help each other with daily life issues. Of course, they are there to learn about Spiritism, and this will always be the purpose. But, at the same time, learning will only occur efficiently if they are spiritually open to learning. As grown-ups, there are two notable phases: adults and elders. These last ones are probably already retired and experiencing a different life. And our attention as educators must be constant because their needs, as well as babies, children, and young people's needs, are different and require different approaches. Providing a warm and welcoming environment for elders is truly honoring their past, their history, the life experiences they may share with us, and be open to learn from them as much or even more as we teach. One of the 10 Commandments says, "Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee." Who are our father and our mother? They are all those who precede us in this life. Some of them who arrive in our study groups, eager to continue learning, expecting to find a place where they will be able to share their feelings and what is going on in their lives. Expecting to find a place filled with love and respect. God wishes to show us their respect, esteem, obedience, caring, submission, and deference should be joined to love. All these put together involve an obligation for each person to carry out what is demanded by charity with regard to one's neighbor, and which implies an even more rigorous duty towards parents. To honor your mother and father consists in not only showing respect, but also helping them in their needs, offering them rest in their old age, and surrounding them with care, just as they themselves did for us during our infancy. This means that it is our duty, our obligation, to take care of them, of the older people. They are our responsibility and should receive affection and care at all times. And Spiritist institutions are not different. They are also responsible for older people. It is a responsibility of study groups to welcome elders with activities to stimulate their physical and cognitive needs. The Universal Declaration on Human Rights states in Article 1 that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. This equality does not change with age. Older men and women have the same rights as people younger than themselves. The rights of older people are embedded, yet not specific in international human rights conventions on economic, social, civil, cultural, and political rights. Examples include the right to equal protection before the law, the right to own property, the right to education, the right to work, and the right to participate in government. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights provides that the elderly must have their care ensured in all ways. Unfortunately, many are emotionally abandoned because of lack of attention and patience from family members, inadequate treatment. They may be treated sometimes as a burden for their families. They may be treated like children who are not capable of doing things and thinking on their own. Some are put in nursing homes and do not receive visits. Many live alone and are independent, but do not even have their children's addresses for emergencies. All kinds of negligence are known as inverse affective abandonment, and they consist of the children's lack of care in relation to their parents in old age. It is related to the absence of affection and assistance. Intergeneration solidarity should be one of the main functions of the family. The younger helping the older. Solidarity, affection, promote education, promote motivation to improve, to develop. The ability to learn is related to abilities such as mental, physical, social, and emotional, and also to make decisions. And quality of lifelong learning is a pillar of active aging. In aging process, perhaps the alteration that most attracts attention in elderly people, aged 60 or older, is the cognitive one. It is common to hear reports of difficulty to remember recent events or forgetting events that have recently occurred. However, when it comes to events that occurred in the past, often referring to childhood, elders remember very well. And this is due to the emotional charge associated with each event. People easily remember events with strong emotional appeal. As we age, memory challenges become more and more evident. But at the same time, we become more selective and more able to focus on what really matters. This all put together help them maintain their interest in life. During natural aging, the brain undergoes considerable elimination of cells, neurons. Approximately 50,000 cells die every day from 20 to 75 years old, totaling a loss of 10% of the amount we are born with. More accentuated in the region that matures later, the cortex. After being born in late childhood, the brain and other organs of the central nervous system slowly and progressively begin to shrink, without this representing relevant damages or any illnesses. Hence, the importance of what the World Health Organization calls active aging. It is the process of optimizing opportunities for health, participation, and security in order to enhance quality of life as people age. It is a notion that for aging to be a positive experience, it must be accompanied by ongoing opportunities for health, participation, and security. Elderly people must be in constant learning and interacting with other people, as this keeps them active and motivates their ability to be a transforming agent, an opportunity to share their life experiences and to acquire knowledge. Planning simple and pleasurable activities, in addition to raising their self-esteem, also contributes to increasing their cognitive capacity. For this reason, it is essential to occupy free time in the best possible way, making aging healthier. Grown-ups, adults have a pace of doing things, of learning different than the elders, to whom there are motor and cognitive limitations, but they can and need to be stimulated. Mental skills, attention, temporal and spatial orientation, memory, language, logical thinking, problem solving. These stimuli are beneficial to the normal aging process. They reduce possible difficulties and can delay or reduce the onset of neurodegenerative diseases. These are some benefits that activities can bring to the elderly and also to all grown-ups, as they stimulate brain functions, keep attention, and motivates learning, self-knowledge, improve creativity, movement rehabilitation, the development of new skills, social integration, memory exercise, improved self-confidence. Art is always very important to work with. Drawing and painting work in motor coordination, stimulate imagination, thinking in organizational capacity, balance and harmonization of emotions, serve as a therapeutic resource. Games, playful activities, they develop strategy, logical reasoning, memory. Classes for grown-ups, adults, and elders should be interesting, active, interactive. They should arrive at a study group which allows them to make observations, to ask questions, to make suggestions. With proposals of playful activities, games, puzzles, discussions, art. They will love it and feel motivated to participate. As we reflected before in one of our previous classes, put yourself in their shoes. How do you feel when you have to be seated for 40 minutes or more, just listening and reading? William Glasser's learning pyramid shows us that this kind of activity helps us retain only a little of that knowledge, whereas when we interact, when we are inserted in active and hands-on activities, we learn so much more. All ages have particular characteristics and must be taken into consideration, must be studied by us educators, if we really and truly wish to improve them with an effective learning of the Spiritist doctrine. We hope this course motivates you to search for more knowledge, to seek more information on how each human development occurs, and which approaches are best for your group. Let us know the ways you use to acquire more and more knowledge and how motivated you are to move forward on this incredible journey of education. Thank you so much for being with us. We hope we can meet again soon. Bye-bye.